Hello and welcome to my channel Making Crafts. Today I'm going to be making a journal using this collection kit by Simple Stories, and it's the Simple Vintage Weather Garden. I received this kit from the Rubber Buggy, and this is my design team project for the Rubber Buggy, so I will link below to all of these products, and all these products came from their store. I'm also going to be using the floral bits that matches this kit, goes along with this kit. I found these Nuvo Drops that I thought would match perfectly with this kit. So this is the olive branch and then the oyster gray. So I'll be using these to decorate. And then I've also ordered some lace from the Rubber Buggy, and I have ordered some little Ric Rac, some small Ric Rac to decorate some of the things in the journal. And so I ordered, right here is about a yard, but I'm going to get about 2 more yards just so I'm sure to have enough, because I can also use this in other projects. But I'm thinking I want to add lace to the edge of the pages, but I never know until I get to the end of my journal where I want to add all the lace. So for this journal, I'm going to be making it a traveler's notebook size, so it's going to be around 8.5 by 4.5. So we're going to cut our sheets 8.5 by 9. So let's go through first through the paper pack and decide what's going to be the cover and what's going to be our pages. And I have mixed my paper pack up quite a bit because I've been going through it, just looking at the different sheets and trying to make some decisions. So I did decide that this is going to be my cover. So the cover will be cut larger than the actual pages. And then for my pages, I'm thinking this one and that one. I'll also be using the plaid and the green plaid. I'm going to use most of these sheets for my pages, but this one I'm going to hold out and use for something else. And then this sheet I will be using for embellishments and to decorate up the journal. But I am thinking of cutting this strip out for pages. And then this one I'm going to leave as is for now, and I will cut all these apart later. And these will be what goes in the pockets, and these also could be used for to make some pockets. Like this would make a cute little pocket, and then you could tuck some of these journaling cards in. And then for this one, since my book is 8.5 by 4.5, if I use any of these, like this one I could cut down smaller to use. This one could be used in it because you can turn it up this way. So I'll have to look through this. So I think these are just going to be embellishments. And then for this one, I am thinking about, I know that I'm going to use some of these for embellishments, but I may cut out, and we'll see in just a few moments, I may cut out just 2 of them together and use those as a flap in my book as well. So let's just go ahead and get started cutting out some of these sheets for our journal. So I'm going ahead and set aside the cover. I'm not going to cut it yet because I want to cut all the pages first. So to cut the pages, we're going to cut them down to 8.5 by 9. Okay, so when I'm cutting these, to cut the 8.5 by 4.5, I am going to look and decide, do I want the top half or the bottom half? Because it does make a difference on some of them. So I think for this page, I'm going to do the bottom half so that I can get this butterfly in. And the back side is just the same pattern on the whole page. So for this one, I'm just going to cut the 8.5 from the bottom. And then I'm going to cut it by 9 here. And so I want to look and see what I'm cutting off. So I want to keep this butterfly on one page, so I'm going to be sure to cut right here. And so this will be the size of our book. So that's a cute little size. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a lot of these pages that doesn't matter, and then I'll jump in every so often and show you how I'm cutting the ones that have decorative pieces that I don't want to cut off. Okay, for this one, if I cut it at 8.5, then it's going to cut off this butterfly here, and I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to line it up so that my butterfly is not trimmed off. And then I'm going to turn it back around and measure on this end 8.5, and we'll see, make sure we're not cutting into this butterfly, and that way I am able to keep all the butterflies intact. So for this one, I'm going to cut the strip from the center because I want to have these little pieces in the book. So I'm just going to cut my paper down so that I have, and so this is going to be like a smaller page, little flap sewn into the book as well. These are the 4x4 elements. I am going to use these two at the bottom, and so I will show you once I cut them out and we start putting the book together. I'll show you how I'm going to use those within the book. I'm trying to decide this one, these two, or these two. I actually think I'm going to go with these two. For this page, I've decided that I'm going to pull out one of these, and I think it's going to be this one. Just cut it out, and I'm going to use it as a smaller page as well. This will all make sense once I show you how we're putting the book together. So now I have cut two of the, let's see what these are, 4x4s, and I've left them connected because we're going to fold them in half. And so what I did was I scored at the 4-inch mark, so they would easily fold in half. If you don't have a scoring board, you don't have to. You can just fold it in half and then just crease it really well. But this makes it easier if you do have a scoring board. So for this strip, these are the 3x4 strips. So what I've done is I've just scored it at 6. Now I did not score these two because I'm going to fold them later to make sure that they don't fold into the where we sew it. So we'll just fold that on our own. And so for this one, I want to attach it in the book, sew it in the book. It's a flap. So I'm going to score it at 1 inch. And there's a reason behind this one, it's 1 inch. So I'm going to have to go back and trim off just a little on the edge here so that because I didn't want to cut the butterfly off. And I think that'll be fine. I'll cut off, it's going to cut a little bit of the leaves off, but that's going to be okay. So we'll make sure that it's 4.5 inches like the width of the book. So then for this one, it's going to be another flap in the book. And I'm trying to decide, I think it's going to be like this. So we want to look, this one, we'll be able to score at 1.5, I do believe. Let's see. And it won't cut the letters off. So we're going to come over here and we'll just go back 1.5. So that will be at 4.5. We're just going to score down the edge there. So that way it flaps in this way. So you're just going to score it so that you can fold it in like that. And then for all of the pages, I have just gone ahead and scored all of them at 4.5. So they're 9 inches wide, so halfway down is 4.5. And so I've scored all the pages like that. So once we have everything scored, we just want to fold it up. And we want to get our bone folder. And we want to just press it down really good on each one. So I'm just going to fold each page and press. And I already have my pages in the order. Oh, I also forgot to add, I did take one of the pages and I cut it out as an 8.5 inch circle. So I wanted a half circle page in the book. So I cut that at 8.5. That way it's the same height and it doesn't stick out the top. If I did a 9 inch circle, it would have stuck out the top, and I didn't want that to happen. So now we're just folding all of these in half. And like I said, if you don't have a scoring tool, just fold them in half. You can just line them up, fold them in half, and then you'll press. And you'll have to do a little bit more pressing if you haven't scored them. The scoring board helps so that you don't have to press as much. It goes ahead and gets the paper ready to fold. So this is the direction that mine are going in the book. It's a little disappointing that that butterfly, but we'll be covering it up anyway with pockets and things. So let's get all that lined up. So now I want to go ahead and this is not my cover. I'm going to cut the cover in a moment. So I want to go ahead and add in these flaps. So I'm thinking, let's see, this one, this is going to be folded back, and this is what you're going to see. So I'm wondering if that would be good right here. That may be too much blended in. Let's try this one there. Blends in too much again. How about this one? And we do have to trim this one off. So as you can see, I'm just going to have to trim right down the edge here because I don't want it sticking out. But we'll go ahead and add it there. and then I'll go back and trim it in just a moment. So here, I think that this Forever and Always would be pretty. And then we'll just keep going, thinking this would be pretty right here. Or this one. Then let's see what we have here. And then for this one, trying to see, that's really busy. That may be too busy for that spot. So let's take a look here. I don't like how it sticks over there. So we'll have to figure that out. Maybe it's prettier there. And then we'll take, we have this one here. So what if we go on the opposite side of this one and we put this one so that, you know what, I folded it the wrong direction. It'll go like this. Hopefully that makes sense, and it will in a moment, I think, when we flip through it. So I am going to add a 4x4 card onto this. So you would have this. Let's just take a look, and you have this one. I do like how all that looks. So now we're just going to trim down the things and fold the things that need trimming and folding. And I'm starting to wonder though, we need something that, what if we took this one and we put it right here? That's pretty. So maybe we won't. So then we can take this one and put that one right in here. There we go. So what I want to do is I want to take the butterfly one and I want to trim it down. And I just want to make sure that it's 4.5 inches wide. When you have this folded, it needs to be 4.5 inches wide. So we'll just trim it down to 4.5. So that will be perfect in the book. And that one will go right in here. See how it lines up really perfect. And then this one, we want to fold it back. But when we fold it, we want to fold it so that it does not get caught into where we're going to sew. And when we sew, we may just fold it back out so we don't catch it in there. But you want to be able for it to fold up. So you don't want to go all the way up to your score line. You want to leave just like 1/8 of an inch. And there we go. And you want to do that on both sides. And I'm just leaving about 1/8 of an inch from the score line. And that way, that will fit on our pages. And it will look like that. But like I said, when we sew it together, we're going to flap those back out. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut our cover down. And we want to cut, since our pages are 8.5 by 9, our covers need to be 9.5. I always like to make them 1 inch larger. 9.5 by 10. So I want to keep those flowers, so I'm going to turn it this way. Okay. So let's fold that one. Let me see if I can line them up without scoring this one. So there you can see, you don't have to have a scoring board to do it. You can just fold it. There we go. So now we'll just put all this in the book. And let's just see, is that too big? I may want to trim it down a little. And that's just how I do things. I just eyeball it and see. And I do want to trim it off the top and bottom just a little. Not too much. Let me see if I can tell you the measurement. So if you want to go ahead and cut yours and not have to do that, it's about 9.5. Just right under it. So it's about 9.25, I think. Let me see that, because we already cut it 9.5. So unless I cut it wrong to begin with, sure. Now let me. Oh, the height. So let me check the height for you. So I cut the height to 9 1/4 instead of 9 1/2. And that way it can just fit right inside of our cover. And then we'll be decorating the cover. We'll be adding pockets and things, but we'll do that once we have the book together. So let's get our book together. So what you want to do is get some clips out. And we're going to clip the book together the way it is all supposed to go. So I'm going to take paper clips to hold in these little flaps. And you want to think about where you're going to sew so that these flaps, you're sure that these flaps do get held in. And so my flap, I'm going to put it in the center, and so I'll know that one of the stitches will go through the center of it here. And I'm just going to clip it in like this. Wait a second. So I'm just going to clip it in with a paper clip to hold that in place. Then let's just line everything up. We're going to do that. We're going to hold with paper clips and with our big clips. So this one is lining up like this. And then I'm going to open these up so we do not sew through them by accident. And we're just going to fold this over. Once again, I'm just going to paper clip it to the page so it doesn't move when we go to sew it and poke our holes. Just want to make sure you have everything in your book. So that one could be right here. This one is fine. This one, go right in the middle there. And I might take and see if I can slide a little paper clip in there. Then we're going to, this one will be fine. It'll fit with the big clip. This one you want to use a paper clip on so it doesn't move. There we go. And then we have it in our cover. So now you just want to open it up. And you do still have to line up your top and bottom pieces and then put it in your cover. Well, not top and bottom. You want to line up the top and bottom of all your pages because they are the same size, so you can just straighten those up by filling. And I might even just do this with these because they're having a little issue. Since we've paper clipped in all our smaller pieces, we don't have to worry about it moving those when we tap it down like that. So now I'm just going to center it up in the cover. And I'm just eyeball centering it. And then we're just going to clip it in like this. So we've got it all clipped in and ready to go. Okay, so once we have it clipped, so I have it clipped with the, let me get one more clip out. I'm going to put 2 clips on each, on that end, and then maybe one right here. Just everything to hold it. So once you have it clipped, I like to have them folded up like this together so that the center is lined up. Okay, so now that we have everything clipped together, we want to punch our holes. We're going to put our holes in using our awl. And since this one has so many little flaps, I want to be sure to catch them. So I can see these sticking out here. And these are almost 4 inches wide. They are 4 inches wide, so that will help me know because most of my little flaps in the book are. So we're going to eyeball the center and go through that. We're going to do a 5-hole punch for this one. So it's a little different. Most of my journals, I do a 3-hole punch, but I am going to do a 5-hole punch for this one. So I'm going to eyeball the center, and then I like to bend it over. And then I just push down so I can go out the spine where I folded of the cover. So we're going to push that through. Okay. Then, where you can see this flap is for the 4, we're going to put another hole right about in here. Can you see about this far in so that it catches that flap? And we're going to push it down again and towards the spine. Now, this is cardstock, so it's a little harder, so don't have your fingers in the way. So then, on the other side, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go about right here, and we're just going to punch a hole. So I'm just going to, so that we catch our flap. There we go. And then be careful not to tear your paper. And then we're going to go up here at the top and we're going to add another hole. And then down the bottom, we're going to add another one. So that will give us 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Okay. So there we have our holes. So now I'll show you how to sew the 5-hole stitch. So I'm going to sew this one together with some of this little cotton thread that I have. You can use wax thread or cotton thread, and I have some beeswax here that I'm just going to run the thread through. So what you want to do is you want to measure 1, 2, 3, and I always do 4 just to have extra, because I don't mind having extra and I have plenty of thread, so I'd rather have extra than not enough and have to start over. So then you can just take, and this is one of my favorite parts, is just running it through the beeswax. Okay, so I ran my thread through the beeswax 3 or 4 times, and now you don't have to put a knot in the end. You're just going to stitch up your journal. So you're going to start in the center hole. So you're going to go through the center hole here and pull it. And what you want to do is leave yourself, and I'm see if I can show you. You're going to leave just a little tail of thread on the inside here so that you have enough to tie it together. And I leave a little extra. That's why I put extra thread here. So then what you want to do is, mine are magnets. They're clicking each other. I'm going to have to do it like this. So now you want to go through first you have your middle hole, then you have your 2 top holes and your 2 bottom holes. So you want to go through the next hole from the center. So you start in the center, so you're going to go up to the top hole that's next to it. Not the very top, but just the one close to it. And you want to go through that. And you want to pull it through. So then you're going to go, so you've got that pulled through. Well, I didn't. There we go. So then you're going to go through, go in the side, inside here. You're going to be on the inside, go through the top hole, the very top hole. And you're just going to pull it tight, but don't go too tight. You don't want to rip your paper. Then we're going to go back through the second hole. And I'm going to have to turn it around so I can get a good grip on it. So here's our second hole. Just going to go right back through that. Pull it through. Okay. Then you're going to skip the center hole and you're going to go through the next to the last hole close to the bottom. You're going to go through that one and just pull tight. We'll take one of those clips off now so it's out of my way. Those are a bit too big, I believe. Okay, so next you want to go down to the very bottom hole and you're going to go through into it. Okay. Once you pull that tight, then you want to go back through the second hole, second from the bottom. Next, you're going to go right back through the center hole this time. You just gotta go back through where you originally started. Okay. Now, ideally, you want it to come through on the other side of the thread. So you got this side, this piece of thread on one side, the tail that we left. So you really want it to, you want to come through on the other side if you can. If not, you can just pull the thread and then adjust it. So then, I want to make sure I'm not getting a knot here. There we go. Then you just want to pull everything through tight. And then I like to go back through and just tighten everything up. So you just want to pull on this, but be very careful that you don't rip your paper. So just want to keep looking, make sure I got it. So I'm going to take the clips off now so they're out of my way. And you just want to make sure everything is tight, that your threads on the outside are tight. And we're going to, I think I will with this paper, it does leave some holes showing. So I am going to cover this with either lace or a doily. We may cover that with a doily. So we want to pull this tight and then just tie 2 or 3 knots in it. And then I like to tie a little bow in it, and I just leave the little bow in the center of my book. Some people put charms on them. I'm not going to put any charms in this one. And then I'm just going to trim it off. Oops. And we're just going to fold it over. And there's our cover. And so what I'm going to do is I will look for a doily that will go with this, or either lace that I already have, because the lace I showed you earlier I think is going to be too narrow. It may not be. I may actually be wrong. It may work perfect. Let's open the book back up. Let's just spread it open like this and we'll see. Actually, that lace would work perfect covering up, so that may be what I use. But I will go through my stash if that's not what I use, and I will show you next time, because in the next video we're going to embellish it. For this one, we're just going to get it put together. So let's get all of the paper clips off that we've clipped our pieces in with. Here's another one. And let's see. There is another clip. So we just want to take all the paper clips off now, and our book should be together where nothing's going to move. So let's see here if we got it all together. So we can look through our pages now. We can look at our cover. I love this paper. It's absolutely beautiful. So these are all working. And if for some reason you had this one and remember we had to trim one off and you didn't trim it enough, you could always go back and trim it with your scissors. And so we look here, we have all of these. And there we have our circle. So this one, that's what I was talking about. We're going to fold it back up now, and we'll use our bone folder to score it down, or press it down, I guess, not score it, so that it folds over like that. And then we'll go back here. Well, we can finish looking and see what we have here. So that looks great. Everything got in good. And by doing the 5 hole punch, if we hadn't, then you would have just had this one sewed in at the center, and then it would have been loose. It would have been rocking back and forth, and you don't want that. So the 5 hole punching it and sewing with a 5 hole one, I don't know the correct term, but that's the best way for something like this. And so there we have all of our pages, and everything looks to be fitting just fine. Now back here we have this tab here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the cards, the 4x4 cards, and I think I have one already trimmed off, and I'm just going to add it, and I think this one will be good. Let me make sure. This is one that just got trimmed off the other end. Let's see, if we do that there, then you're going to have this side, but we can always cover it up on this side. We can cover it up with something else. We can make another pocket or something. But I'm just looking to see if that one works or if one of the other ones would work best. I kind of want to save these two possibly for the front. So the Hello Beautiful may look good there as well, or the Cherish Today. So I think I will do the Cherish Today. So let's just trim that one out. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the Cherish Today on this side, and then on the other side we can put the Memories Made, and we'll just glue them together like that, and they should line up pretty good. So that's what I'm going to do. So let's put this one on first. It is a little larger, but that's okay because it'll just frame out this one. So we're going to just attach it so that it goes out like that. Let's just make sure. Okay, so I like that. So we're just going to attach it like that. So we just want to take and add some glue to our flap. And then we're just going to attach this one. I'm just going to line it up with this flap here. There. I may just need to put a little glue underneath there and just press down. And then I'm going to center this one up. Since it's a little smaller, I'm going to center up so that you can see some of the border around it. And then I'm just going to add a little glue to the edge of it. And I just had an idea. I'm thinking if I glue the side there, but if I glue across, let's see if we glue here, and then I glue across the bottom and the top here, I'm just going to make a little small pocket out of it. So we'll just glue here. If you want a larger pocket, then you wouldn't glue as much on this side, but I'm just creating as I go, and that's what I love to do, so that's okay. So now we'll have a small pocket to put a little card in. Okay, let's just press that, or a little tag in, whatever we decide to make for it. Press that down. And so there we have something already on that one. So now we have our journal put together. So when I design the cover and decorate it up, then I will decide what I'm adding to the side here. I feel like I'm just going to add some lace, but I'm thinking that this lace just may be too narrow, so I may take a look and see what lace I have that's wider to go, but I don't want anything wide enough that's going to cover up these beautiful flowers. And that's why I got to figure out how to decorate the cover without covering up too many things. So in the next video, we'll either work on the cover or we'll work on adding pockets to this journal and possibly some embellishments. We may have time to do all that in one video, but we will see. I haven't decided which one I want to do next, but I'm really loving this little journal so far. It's a thin little journal so far, but when we get done, they get chunkier the more you add to them. So I didn't want to use too many pages since I'm using all cardstock. If you use too many pages, it'll be too thick to begin with, and you won't have room to add all the pockets and tags and embellishments. But I'm really looking forward to creating this journal. I love this beautiful paper, and I love working with Simple Stories paper. So I will link below to all of the products that I am going to be using or have used in this video, and I'm going to be using for this project. And I hope you will continue to follow along. And if you're watching this video later on when the series has been out for several weeks, then I will go ahead and in the description there'll be links to the finished journal and the different steps on how I made it. But for now, if you're following along each week as I create this, and hopefully I will have this one completed by mid-January, so each Tuesday I will be working on it. And so hopefully you'll come back and check out and see how the journal comes along. And thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you click the notification bell, then it will notify you each time I upload a new video. And if you're planning on following along with me and creating one of these journals, you want to hit the notification button so that you'll be notified each Tuesday once I have uploaded the video on the next part of this journal. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.